I've compiled a fairly lengthy list for today's discussion. Now, you do need to stay with me to the end so you don't miss something. Now, I'm going to start this video off for Vanessa Blank. She's got two YouTube channels. Her channel in German is Vanessa Blank. The one she has in English is Wild Woman Bushcraft. Now, and I just caught part of this video, the Wild Woman Bushcraft in English this morning. She's going to have an operation. She may be having it now. She's had some serious health problems for a number of years. She's got some disorder that no matter how much she eats, she stays skinny. She's got to eat quite a bit. I know a few people that probably wouldn't really want that, but might secretly desire something that would keep them skinny. But I don't think they really want to be afflicted with the problems. Now, she hasn't asked for your thoughts and prayers. Well, I didn't see that on the video that I watched, but I'm asking my viewers, hey, if you do believe in thoughts and prayers, watch Wild Woman Bushcraft and give her your thoughts and prayers if you believe in that type of thing. I'm going to make a separate video, some suggestions for her, because I'm kind of thinking that she might be watching my videos for some of the content of her, some of her videos. That's Wild Woman Bushcraft if you want to watch her in English. Next, I'm going to cover Hope and Shalom. I'm going to cover that later. Now, Iran, they haven't appointed, their new supreme leader yet. And I was kind of, when I was thinking about that, now if you remember the old West towns, when they would appoint their sheriff, but the sheriff knew that his time was kind of limited because there would be some bad guy out there that saw a target on his head. They wouldn't appoint the new sheriff, and I'm thinking the leader, any potential leader of Iran, is probably going to be thinking the same thing, that their time in office is probably kind of becoming the new leader of Iran is probably going to have a limited shelf life because there's probably going to be subject to American or Israeli missile, just because that's the way things go these days. Let me see the next thing for the towns of Hope and Shalom. Now, I'm gonna get to Shalom here in a minute. Now, Hope, I've got a video here titled like 10 Miles to Hope. Now, this is many years ago. Now, I'd seen this, I think it's Highway 74 here in Arizona. There's signs that say like 20 miles to Hope, 10 miles to Hope, 5 miles to Hope. And in my case, I blanked and I missed the town of Hope. Now, another thing I missed, now I was watching a video from his YouTube channel is Sidetrack Adventures. His name is Steve. But anyway, a video he made a year ago or so, that he was talking about the town of Hope and the town of Shalom. Apparently something that Steve had saw and I missed. But outside the town of Hope is a sign that said, "You are now beyond hope," which I thought was kind of interesting. I guess dark, sarcastic humor of the townspeople of the town of Hope. I don't think there's much there. But I definitely need to get back there just so I cover the town of Hope and see and actually video that sign. Now, it may not have been there because this was quite a while ago. That sign saying you're now beyond hope may not have been there, but that let me get to the town of Shalom. Now, I drove out to Shalom many years ago just to say I'd been there. Now, when I got out there, just put gas in my tank and headed back home. But it's almost on the Colorado River. It's almost into California. Now, the story, as Steve was telling, was the guy that had founded the town of Hope. When he'd get out there, his wife, whatever. This was back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. This lady got out of her car or coach or off a horse or whatever she was riding in her on. When she got out, she was barefoot, and the ground was so hot she had to dance around to avoid burning her feet. So the guy had put title of the town Shalom, where she danced, because his wife danced to avoid burning her feet. Apparently, this guy was a very colorful individual. He had this little paper there where he would publish all kind of wild stories. I think most of them were the product of a vivid imagination, BS stories. And apparently, back in the day when it was like Saturday Evening Post. This is again according to Steve. His YouTube channel is Sidetrack Adventures. But anyway, the publisher, the editor of this paper, had asked this guy, the founder of the town of Siloam, to publish stories for his paper, and the guy, I don't know if he's mayor or just he just lived there, but anyway, he said, "Well, look, I'm too busy, but look, I'll give you permission to, republish, the stories from from my little, excuse me, from my little paper." And apparently they did. They had published a number of these stories, and they had at that time, the town of Siloam had become world famous. I remember one lady, I was talking to her about ghosts. I knew she was also interested in ghosts and new age and paranormal type stuff. And this lady's apparently real sensitive to picking up on that stuff. And her husband were doing some work out there in Siloam, and she'd tell me, she said she just couldn't stand out there. She said the town was so eerie because she just kept picking up on these ghosts and stuff. And I didn't quite get it, but I guess they were giving her a weird feeling that she didn't care for the town of Siloam. That was just her take on it. Now, like I said, I wasn't there long enough to, but I definitely need to get back out there and get some more background, make some YouTube videos from the town of Siloam. Now, the next thing I want to cover is for the video I made the other day or two ago for Rick DeBurl. Now, one thing I forgot was this 1941 Packard. Now, I got to walk around this thing for many years. It's been many years since I was over there, but I used to do the service work for this lady that lived in Litchfield, and it was always in the garage over this 1941 Packard car. I just looked at it. I didn't really check it out or anything. And she'd asked me to. I would have loved to have just gone through it, mechanically, and checked it and see if the engine would turn over, see if see what type of shape it was in. But I just walked around it and admired it from the outside. Now, as the story goes on this 41 Packard, now I've covered this here a number of times. The story goes that the guy that had bought it, he'd bought it brand new, was a Navy pilot, and right after he'd bought it, he got shipped out to an aircraft carrier, and he ended up getting killed at the Battle of Midway, and it was like March of 1942 or something like that, whenever the Battle of Midway. But this car, I don't know if anybody had it since that. I'm kind of thinking, probably family probably used it for a while, and then they parked it. And I'm hoping, I suspect somebody had went through it, and I'm hoping it's either staying in a museum somewhere or it's actually being used, because it was certainly a very interesting piece of history. And I'm going to include that for Rick DeBurl, if maybe he can do some research and find out what happened to that 41 Packard and post it on his video. And if he wants, I can't give you any more information than I posted here. It was in a house in a garage in Litchfield. But I said I haven't talked to this lady. She was, I haven't talked to her maybe 20, 30 years, and she was up in age, and so I'm sure she's left us by now. Let's see. I was asked, my viewers, hey, I need the inspiration for that one video that goes nuclear, but one that really, really takes off. If somebody's got some ideas, maybe you want to do a collab video with me on something. Maybe you don't. I don't care if you don't have a YouTube channel at all. If you've got a channel smaller than mine, I don't care. Just let me know what you got in mind. Now, if it's anything dangerous or illegal, I'm not going to do it. If it's anything immoral, I'll talk to you about it. I may or may not go. I may or may not go with it, depending on what it is. Now, the last thing I'm going to cover is my operation. Now, I've covered that. Now, the first time I'd posted windows on Facebook, my daughter became a bit concerned. My daughter shares my dark, sarcastic humor. Oh, let me cover one more thing before I get to my operation. Now, it's for Sabina Hossenfelder. Now, I've covered her. Again, this chick has a dark, sarcastic humor. You can tell that. There's two different family lines that I share. One of them I share with Sabina Hossenfelder. I'm going to cover that in a second. But I've covered this a number of times where I have this perverted, weird fantasy that Sabina Hossenfelder is on top of me. She experiences her double Big Bang, and then she rolls off crying, science is dying. Now, I'm just wondering, now I'm pretty sure that Sabina Hossenfelder is watching my videos from the content of one or two of her videos. I'll cover that later. But anyway, I'm just wondering Now, Sabina Halstenfeld is a founder. She's married with kids and stuff, but she really shouldn't share a fantasy like that with me. But I just wonder. No, I don't expect her to ever act upon her fantasies. I certainly don't expect to act upon this type of fantasy. I'm just wondering if Sabina doesn't share this type of fantasy with me. I'm just curious. Say, Sabina, just make some weird, dark, sarcastic humor. Say, James, talk about a double Big Bang. But anyway, I'm just curious if Sabina also, no, the two family lines that are known for dark, sarcastic humor. Now, my mother was Scotch Irish, and yeah, they have their dark humor, and the Godwin name is Dutch German. So two genealogical families with dark, sarcastic humor. Anyway, let me get to um, my last subject. Now I have to have this operation. Oh, I don't have to have it. I suppose I could go without it. But this is, I've covered this a number of times, and I definitely need to because it's warming up. Now, first time I shared this on Facebook, my daughter became quite concerned. But she shares my dark, sarcastic humor. Now, why she didn't get it, I don't know, and I suspect now she gets it. But this is an operation that normally it's a routine, normally painless operation. Few side effects. I expect a fairly rapid recovery. But this is a hair amputation. I need to have my hair amputated. What little there is left of it, but I need to have a hair amputation. And I expect a rapid recovery, and I don't expect too many ill side effects from my hair amputation. So I'll let you know when I'll probably perform it myself. Just take a pair of clippers and amputate my own hair. And I expect fairly rapid recovery. I've covered everything here. Ciao. Adios. Vaya con Dios. Auf Wiedersehen. Lieben Sie wohl. Mahalo. Sayonara.